Welcome back to another edition of the Beech Grove Scouting Report. Happy to report that he's still smiling. Beech Grove head football coach Mark Weller joins us. And Coach, 46-0 over Pendleton Heights, round 2 of the sectional. And boy, what a win for the program. Puts you on the cusp of winning a sectional championship.
Well, you know, it was huge for our kids. And I think the most exciting thing, we exercised a major demon of weather. It was about as nasty as I've ever been in. And I knew we were in great shape pre-game when it started snowing, and our kids were hooting and hollering and excited about it. And they reacted, and you know, that was a good game to get over.
Now, some coaches will live by the philosophy that, you know, you can lose games early in the week in preparation. You can win games early in the week in preparation. You talk about that mindset. I wouldn't call it a radical change, but a change nonetheless. You looked ahead at the forecasters. You put some faith in the weatherman. It looked ahead saying, I think they're going to be right this time, even though they're wrong most of the time. But you changed your offensive philosophy a little bit. Talk about what your week was like and what changes you made to your style of offense.
We really started the week concentrating on the mental aspect. Guys, it's going to be nasty. It's not going to be a factor for us because obviously it's caused us problems this year. But I said we're going to decide right now, put it out of our mind and react. And I said we're going to adjust our philosophy to this a little bit. And we put in a 3-back set with an unbalanced line for 2 reasons. One, we wanted to establish ourselves in the physical sense. But 2, something a little more weather friendly.
Now, you talk about running the football. You have to have a lot of confidence in the scheme and your ability to put it in because, you know, technique-wise, thanks to Coach Anthony Fremonis, your guys are very, very solid. But let's face it, there's not too many 6'3", 240 offensive linemen on the Beech Grove offensive line.
No, not at all. And honestly, this type of offense is where my heart and my base is. So, you know, I have a foundation there, felt very confident in running it. I like to run it. And it was fun to watch our kids react in a physical manner and execute and run the ball well.
Who played well for you?
Oh, geez, Ryan Ward played well both sides of the ball. He, you know, carried the load for us offensively, was in on most plays defensively. Offensive line, of course, really came through for us. And we said, you know, at this point of the year, we're going to put we're going to count on you guys a lot. They came through as usual. Chase Andrews, you know, did a great job. Matt Bauman, you know, the usual suspects that really came through.
With your ability to put up points through the air throughout the course of the season, did the change in the offensive approach, was there, do you get the feeling there was an oh my God moment on the part of the Pendleton Heights defensive staff because they couldn't have been prepared for what you were doing?
They weren't prepared at all and honestly never adjusted to it, which I was amazed, you know, at. And I know talking to Coach Broughton before the game, he's talking about our passing game and, you know, pressure that puts on teams and so on. So I knew he was focused on that. And when we came out in a running set like that, caught him off guard and honestly kept him off guard the whole game.
Can you say enough in terms of superlatives about your kids to have such a radical departure from approach and have it so openly embraced?
That's just kind of goes with what, you know, our seniors are all about. And you couldn't do this on a lot of teams, but with the senior experience and knowledge that we have, they made it really easy, adapted, hey, this is what we need to do to win, and embraced it.
Yeah, you talk about embracing it and embracing the conditions too, because I think you can tie 1, maybe 2 of your losses this season to the fact that just mentally your kids didn't have any interest in being a part of the conditions that you were faced with that night. And that certainly was not the case last Friday night, which in my memory, and it's not as good as it used to be, but still it's still rather lengthy. That was one of the worst Friday nights that I ever remember.
I was talking to an official friend of mine who we just happened to have for that game, and we each mentioned this is probably the worst we've each been through. And, you know, just it's a mindset. It's mental toughness. And, you know, our kids have, when we stress a point in practice and in game plan, our kids just adapt to it. And, you know, and that's senior leadership, kids buying into what we do, and I'm really proud of our kids.
One of your seniors said, and I'll let him remain nameless for now, but I was walking through the cafeteria Monday morning and I said, way to take care of business Friday night. I said, one more, huh? He said, no, we got more than that, Coach. I mean, the mindset now seems to be, we've made it this far, let's close, let's finish.
And that's exactly right. You know, we call it a swagger, you know, a confidence. And our kids certainly have that. They've found out what happens when you work hard and you put your time in. You know, good things are going to happen to you. And it certainly has worked that way for us this year.
Now, in addition to the kids having to make adjustments, certainly no question, you had to have a staff that was willing to buy into the adjustments that you wanted to make. And you know, we've mentioned a handful of them, but go ahead and run through the guys on your staff again. And I'm sure you're as happy with this bunch of guys as you've assembled as any group that you've ever had.
Best group I've had. You know, yeah. Bobby Burton works with our defensive line and running backs. Brad Lane works with our running backs. Kelly Carter works with our defensive line. I had a long relationship with Kelly. He's new to our staff. Anthony Freemanis came to us from Danville, does a great job with our offensive line. Nick Perica, defensive coordinator. Troy Edwards, who has really stepped up his responsibility this year, has been a tremendous asset for us, helps out a ton, both offensively and defensively. You know, great group of guys, you know, and it's just fun to work with. The kids respect them, kids love them, and couldn't be happier.
And that makes a big difference. I mean, not only do you have to be on the same page, you talk about you don't necessarily have to like the people that you work with. Simply put, you cannot be successful in football if you have a staff that you don't like.
You know, and that's unfortunately, all of us coach long enough, you run into that sometimes, and I've been pretty lucky in that regard. But you spend so much time together, one thing. And two, you know, we've all played the game, we've all been around athletics, so everybody's very competitive. And you know, when you're going to have some disagreements, you're going to have differing opinions, and you have to be close friends to overcome that and do what's best for the kids. And these guys are fantastic.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Friday night, the battle for the sectional championship on the line. If you walk into the gym here at Beech Grove High School, there are placards all across the wall that tout the success that various programs have had throughout the years. Under sectional, it's blank. Have an opportunity to change that Friday night. Certainly a tough opponent in New Pal. I mean, one of the most successful, consistently successful programs in recent memory. What concerns the New Pal Dragons present for you as we prepare for Friday night?
You know, in talking to the kids, when you get to this level, there are no more slouches. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a thinning of the herd, for lack of better terms. New Pal's a very, very strong team. They can do it all offensively, you know, run and pass. A lot of good skilled guys. Thing that really stands out for me as a strength for them is their defense. You know, they give up 4.5 points a game. They fly to the football, are extremely aggressive, and you know, our plan is to hopefully use some of that aggressiveness against them. You know, we're going to have to throw the ball, we're going to have to work to our strength and execute, but this time of year crazy things happen, you know, and I feel real good about where we are going into this game.
No concerns at all about a level of intimidation, or as you said earlier, these kids feel like that, hey, we know they're going to be good, but bottom line is we have to, I've always felt like you should respect your opponent, but simply put, you necessarily can't always, if you take care of what you do and the way you do it on offense and defense, I think that enhances your chances for success. You have a tendency maybe to get away from what you do or what you're comfortable with if you focus too much attention on your opponent.
Right, right. And, you know, and you still have to, you know, stick to your strengths. But, you know, as far as the intimidation factor, and that's been the real, probably for me, the most fun part that really is telling that our culture has changed here. You know, last year, playing Mount Vernon, first round of sectional, you know, very good team, very physical team. You know, I'm not so sure our kids' heart was in it, you know, completely. This year, going up against them, you know, we won that game physically. You know, we beat them up. And that really is telling to the change of attitude and how our kids get after it.
Well, and you played pretty well against some common opponents. That also is a factor in terms of developing that confidence. But folks, here's a stat that amazed me. There are 5 schools from our conference playing for sectional championships Friday night. So there's no question we've developed a conference here that has the desired effect. Your regular season prepares you for the postseason.
Absolutely. I think we talked early on in the season that, you know, I think by far this is the best small school conference in the state. And week in, week out, the teams we have to play certainly prepare us for a 4A schedule.
Well, how happy are you to have this sectional championship at home? I mean, that's going to be huge.
Oh, it's awesome. You know, our community has been fantastic all year long, very supportive, and you know, and that's an advantage for us. You know, the 12th man, per se, you know, is really going to help us see this through.
Well, let's get together next week and talk about your regional opponent.
Love to.
Beech Grove Hornets will be at home Friday night. Get on your black, get on your orange, get out and support the Hornets as they go for the school's first ever sectional championship against New Pal. Kickoff time is 7 o'clock. Parking lots open very early. You want to bring the family, come out and tailgate. We hope to see a great crowd root on the Hornets in their quest for their first ever sectional championship. For Beech Grove head football coach Mark Weller, I'm Mark James. So long for now.